nature. Wonderful times. And we got a lot of locusts, like every 17 years they come up and make a loud noise like this, I guess. Well, we don't know.
I don't really know.
We're in the wilderness now, so.
Well, okay. We haven't seen you guys in a while, but that doesn't mean we don't pop in from time to time.
Yeah, we've been incredibly busy.
Incredibly busy, and that's good. However, there's and we only want to touch on this for a split second because we're going to get into our video that we're calling the Twin Flame Lake of Shit, Fire, and Brimstone. I don't know who came up with that.
Of course we know who came up with it.
There's a lot of controversy, and I don't want to even label. I just want to go, that's it.
Right.
Happening in the dynamic or in the community, and Lee and I prefer to stay silent and quiet as we live peaceful Zen lives as much as we possibly can, and so we just kind of want you guys all to know that we are here, and we stay silent for a reason, and we are very non-judgmental, and we do not place judgment or blame or follow judgment or blame. It's very sad, some of the things that are happening, and Lee and I's belief system is exactly that. Our belief system. We don't ask for you to follow our belief system. We ask for you to follow your own belief system. Our belief system will not change because it is our belief system and it's what we know as the truth because we've lived it, and it's what we know as the truth. That may not be what you know as the truth, but it certainly is what we know as the truth. Getting through our own twin flame lake of shit, fire, and brimstone, and still continuing to live in a 3D world with a 5D life as much as we can.
Yeah, I agree. We've have these teachings that come from our inner beliefs, but it's also been a lot of teaching of just paying attention to what the energy itself says. We've been asked, do you believe that you could have multiple or all of those things? Here's the thing that we know for sure. When the atom was created, it split. And then it split again and split again and split again. But its original origin of when it first split knows of itself. And I believe that you can feel a frequency and a vibration that will let you know when you have that direct match. And that's something internal within you that you'll know for sure. Somebody telling you can have multiple of those, well, I believe the frequency and the vibration will tell you what you need to know. You'll know when something is your direct match versus when something is maybe a match of some kind. But again, it's an internal dialogue that you'll have because all of that is happening on the inside of you. And as your cells regenerate each year, it's giving you that same information. It never changes that information because that information will always remain the same. So as far as belief, if you watch just even cell regeneration, or if you just watch an atom, you'll understand what we're saying.
I'll dumb it down just real quick for those of us who don't speak alien. Basically, what Lee's saying is you will recognize others as the same frequency. You will resonate and be connected to others with the same frequency, but the one that you came from in origin,
original,
yeah, is it.
Man.
That's you know what, and I don't think anybody really knows. I don't, you know what I mean? I know that the phenomenon and the things that happen inside of our union can't be denied, can't be explained. I forgot to turn the bells and whistles off. I don't think we can. Can we? Oh. Um, um, I don't know where I was going. But I know that, the telepathy and the connection is very strong. I know that we are in harmonious union after we've gone through our lake of shit, fire, and brimstone. Sometimes there are remnants of it. Um, who knows? Um, um, we could be each other's 20th down the line, or 10th down the line, or 5th down the line. I choose to believe that this is the original connection. Um, with the things that we have been through personally in our journey with coming together earlier in our lives, and our parents' connection, and meeting up with each other in different phases of our life
Yeah.
when we come from completely different areas of the country, and then coming together is phenomenal, and to me it's very sacred. So um, coming from a set of authentic twins who um, know what the trials and the tribulations and the lake of shit and the fire and the brimstone is, because we've personally been through it.
Yeah.
We feel that there is that one connection, that one phenomenal, spiritual, sacred connection.
Yeah. So just imagine, if you will, an orb, an original orb that split, and then another orb from the orbs that split again, and they split again. It could be an infinite number, but you have to also remember there are billions.
Mm.
So once you get into the billions, you never know
Right.
what actual part connects to what. But anyway, let's shift gears from talking a little bit more and going more into connection, um, because I think we wanted to have this video to talk a little bit about the batshit craziness of the lake of fire,
Lake of shit, fire, and brimstone.
lake of shit fire. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, but this is more.
It's the truth.
This is about the obsession.
A lot about the obsession and a lot about just the lake of shit. And if you've watched our entire journey, for number one, I'm sorry. Number two, you resonate with the shit, with the fire, um, just with the hell, the trials and the tribulations of this very unique and very sacred connection. It's hell, um, if you're not obsessed, but it's even more so hell if you are.
I think we both went through our periods of obsession,
Oh, for sure.
and of
For sure.
yeah, and not even so much was it more of the obsession as much as it was the mind games of the obsession,
Mm-hmm.
because we were trapped in here. And when you get trapped in here, you're trying to understand connection,
Mm-hmm.
but the only real place you can look to end connection would be family patterns or things that have happened to you throughout your life that you were connected to, and you keep trying to see that in this connection, and it causes so much disruption, and it creates the same habit forming things. It creates the same forms of addictions. And addiction and obsession, you can be addicted to obsession, and that's what this connection can do to you in a way that I believe becomes very um, I don't know, lake of shit, I guess is the best way to put it. You literally will try to think your way into connection where your thinking has been everything that's keeping you disconnected. Um, is that's pretty? I believe that's as accurate as we can get without really going into detail. And the thing about this is when you are in this connection by individual, you have an individual story, an individual way that you come into this world, and then you try to make it fit with the rest of the piece of puzzle. And this is how obsession gets started.
I like to think that the universe, I don't want to say test because that the universe don't test, but the universe see. I I tend to believe that there are soulmates that the splitting would produce a soulmate, somebody your soul resonates with, somebody you it's very, very close to the connection of this kind of labeled twin flame thing, but it's not as viable. Um, the pool isn't as strong. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, what happens is, I believe the universe puts you in those situations where you find someone that you're resonating with, and you automatically go to, you jump from you jump from 0 to 60 obsession, and you could very well be obsessed with not the right not the right person, because you found that resonation and you found that connection, and then you just go full force with obsession, and the universe is not going to put in front of you the actual connection, because you can't seem to get over the obsession of someone that isn't actually the, which the dynamic labels a catalyst, or false, or whatever the names are. It's bringing people into your life, and you get so obsessed.
Yeah. But isn't this, I think, asking this question of you, isn't this also just a pattern of what you learned in connection that you keep trying to look for in connection? Whether it be you're looking for to be unemotionally available, you're looking for the turn your back, walk away, don't care how I feel, don't care what I, you choose something that's over me, or you're choosing someone else over me. You're looking for those things periodically because of what you understand about
Right,
connection.
right.
And seeing as how we've all been groomed to be disconnected, to find connection, you're still trying to find where you're disconnected within you, but you're not looking in you to make sure that the connection
Right,
can be made.
right,
You want the other person to help you find the
right.
connection in you, but they're only going to mirror you what you do to you.
And then what we find is happening is, then you make that other person responsible for your happiness, and then you become depressed. And here comes the lake of shit, fire, and brimstone, where the the lake of shit is where you are. A dark night of the soul is at the bottom of the lake of shit. When you sink to the bottom of the lake of shit, then you end up in the dark night of the soul, and you end up in even more hell. So the first step to your dark night of the soul is jump diving into your lake of shit,
Yeah.
fire and
Yeah.
brimstone, and you get caught up in separation and an obsession, and then,
Oh, well, then comes self judgment.
oh,
I'm a
self
failure.
judgment.
I've really sucked this. I've really messed this up. I expected them to be this way and they're not this way. It's all having to do with what you're saying on the inside that's disconnected, that causes this
Hmm.
obsession.
Right.
And when the obsession begins, it usually starts off as a subtle mind noise that gradually grows to where you're not even telling the other person what you think.
Mm-hmm.
You're not sharing your thoughts. You're not sharing what you think of yourself. You're not sharing what you think of them. You're just watching their behavior, and their behavior is mimicking you, what you're not saying. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
most people say, I don't know you. How can I be connected to you? Because you really don't know you, because they can tell that you're hiding something. They can tell that you're not speaking up. They can tell that something's off. You may tell them you love them, but the way that you love yourself isn't telling them anything. So it's almost like they're only going to give you what you give you. So you become obsessed with, why don't they choose me? Why aren't they, and then you
Why
get
are
into
they running? Why are
them
they running from me? Why?
and you're not paying attention to running from yourself.
Why won't they get back with me? Why won't they call me? Why won't they text back?
The
Why won't they choose me?
the success is found in the
Throw that
failure.
in there.
The success is found in the failure. When you see, or when you saying I failed, or I have failure, it's found in that. The failure itself is success, because then you at least get to play an identity of what failure is. And we all know that role. I mean, I think even once you've reached a point where you say, I'm alone or I'm by myself, you now have an identity to play, and that's who you will make sure shows up in the world. And you'll isolate yourself, and then you're going to blame somebody else for it, rather than seeing that the blame shouldn't even be about somebody else. It should be for yourself. You're never alone. You're connected.
Trying to build a relationship,
Mm.
which we suck at.
Well, and the relationships that I think we've gotten better at since this connection is the ones we have to ourselves,
Very much so.
which is the birth of Relationship Reinvented. But
Hmm.
I would tell you, even now, we still have our hangups with those relationships that we have with ourselves. And it's important to hear that the communication is the one thing that I think we've made greater, is how we communicate now versus, those silent conversations we had in ourselves. We actually can share, and it feels great to do that, because nobody likes vulnerability. We all say we want to be vulnerable, and we all know that vulnerability is actually stronger than being strong or putting on a mask of strong. But your vulnerability is the key. Your vulnerability, not just of what others do to you, but what you do to yourself, and then exposing that. I mean, nobody's really going to know the real you until they know how you treat yourself. And if you can't be vulnerable and show them, what are you asking them to do? I guess that's where you said make them responsible for your happiness, make them responsible for your hurt, make them responsible for running away from you when you're not seeing that you do it to yourself. I think, one of the greatest lessons that we learned, and we kind of tried to make sure that was out there, is we stayed very in touch with what we felt coming into ourselves when we did a journey. We wanted you to see the raw emotion of it all. We wanted you to experience the vulnerability of it all, because the vulnerability has always been the key to connection. It's never been about disconnection.
Right. Yeah. Being vulnerable. Ooh, that's rough.
It is, but that's
Ooh,
that's what's
that's
that's
rough.
what's inside, and at the
I
center.
don't want to tell them. Why do I have to be the one to tell them? Why do I have to be the one doing the work? Why do I have to do this? Why can't they do this? Why can't you be vulnerable enough to do it?
Why don't I see the love that I have for myself should be a lot stronger for me to say this is the reason why.
Yeah.
That's always been your answer. Your answer is, do you love yourself? If you're saying why do I, it's not why do I, it's why don't I. So why don't you do the work? Why don't you want to be? I mean, you're saying these things, but you're not seeing how you're saying them against yourself. I mean, you're saying that this other person has to be primary when you haven't even made yourself that way, so you won't even know what that means. When you make somebody primary and yourself secondary, do you even know what they're getting? They're getting thirds. They're not coming first. They actually get third, because ultimately they're going to get what you give yourself. Um, the I think the lake of fire, the brimstone, the shit, and then the dark night of the soul. The dark night of the soul, up underneath that is vulnerability, and vulnerability's always been key. But it all really depends on each person's individual definition of vulnerability, because it's not the same for everyone. But it can be unified to bring you into union. So, the unified works.
Mm.
The lake, fire,
Lake of shit
and fire.
and brimstone.
Oof, we get it.
We
God,
do,
we
and
get it.
here's the thing: we know how you feel. We resonate with what you're saying. We know it hurts. We know you can't sleep. We know it's hard to eat. We know that you want to be sitting on the couch with this person, that you want to be sleeping next to this person, that you want to be doing the dishes with this person, that you want to be doing the laundry with this person, and going to the grocery store and living a life. That's relationship. We got it backwards. Once, oh, we tried relationship. We tried different things, different homes, different places to be, and it never worked because we were always trying relationship. When we decided to say, screw the relationship, let's try union, then relationship came. Um, we obviously do have an everyday relationship because we live in the same place and we sleep in the same bed and we do the dishes and we do the laundry and we um, do. Lee's doing amazing with the yard work, and I cut some bushes. Um, that stuff comes. It does. It's natural. It comes. The 3D stuff follows the 5D stuff.
But at the foundation of all of that is connection. And, to be able to exist in this connection, you have to be okay with what the connection gives you, no matter what that is. Oh, if my connection is choosing somebody else, that doesn't mean you're disconnected. That means your thinking is.
Right.
Remember, this is about the difference between thinking and knowing. I mean, most of us don't like to use our knowing because thinking always seems to work well. And we've realized that thinking doesn't always work. Most of the time, thinking doesn't work at all. All it does is keep you from knowing.
And it's really hot. In the next video, we're going to do in the shade. So, if you're in this lake of fire, hell and brimstone, we're here for you. We know how to get out of it. We've got out of it.
And we got coaches that can do it
We
too.
got coaches who can help you out of it. Our coaches are amazing. If you would like to join our coaching family, please let us know. We are always accepting new family members into our
Looking
amazing
for those
little
that get
program.
this. We were definitely looking for those that get
Who
this.
get it.
And we're
If you
very,
are
very lucky.
in the lake of fire and brimstone, even better. You do not have to be in healing. You can be a batshit crazy mess, and we love them like that because
You'll speak from your
you have
truth.
to go through it anyway.
You'll speak from your truth. Usually when you're down that deep, you're going to talk about all of the truth that's happening to you, but you're not talking about the truth of what you think of you.
Right.
So you need to get that out. You need to get that out immediately. And that's something where you're going to need to hold yourself and give yourself that space.
You do not have to wait for class. Classes are personal. You do not have to wait for a certain time. You can start whenever you want. All over the world, it doesn't matter. It's all online. It's live. So if you're thinking about it, now is a good time. We want to help you out of your lake of shit, fire, and brimstone. We can, and
got to get to the roots.
You got to get to the roots.
Absolutely.
We do adore you guys, especially those in our Facebook groups.
Yeah.
You know,
we've been doing a lot of those. We've done a few of those live ones, and I love doing that.
The live ones are great, and that's that's where we are. If you want to find us, we are normally interacting in between sessions and such in our Facebook group, the Twin Flame Work Group by Relationship Reinvented. We also have a regular Relationship Reinvented group. It's more relationship based,
and we're following. We get a lot of people asking a lot of questions on our Twitter. I mean, we've got quite a few followers there, and our mailbox gets kind of full. Our mailbox gets kind of full on Facebook,
Google Plus,
or Google Plus. It gets a lot full. So if we haven't reached you yet, please.
The best place to reach us is email info@relationshipreinvented.com. It just is because our Facebook messengers we've had to take off of our phone because we just can't.
Yeah, we've got somebody watching that, and
unless you're a coach. If you're a coach, you obviously have our full attention, and you know that. But that's another thing I just want to touch on real quick is our Facebook group, our Twin Flame. We try to set our Twin Flame work group.
Yeah. Okay.
We try to set ourselves apart and not. I don't want to say allow. That's a rough word, but we try to stay away from all of the Twin Flame. It's a safe place. Yeah. You can come in and you can speak, and you have plenty of support in there. Any of the confusion or the drama, I use that word lightly or loosely, but all of the hot mess that happens out in the and it's not just the dynamic. It's in the PTOs. It's in Boy Scouts. It's any kind of when two or more gather together, right? There's that kind of stuff, but we really try to deter that stuff from being in our group, and we don't.
All belief systems welcome as long as it's not bashing other belief systems.
Yeah, we don't bash other belief systems, and we don't bash other people. And if you've got some truths to say, and it's not in a mean and hurtful way, that's fine. Obviously, if there's safety issues or whatever, but we try to keep it a very safe place to be and to be able to speak your truth and to be able to ask really, really genuine questions and be able to talk to people about this, because a lot of people cannot go to their 3D circles and talk about this dynamic. It just makes you even look more batshit crazy. So we're here for you. Our group's here for you. It's Twin Flame Support Group by Relationship Reinvented on Facebook. We are in there. We are in there personally, and we do communicate and interact as much as we can.
We're in there as much as we can be.
As much as we can be. If we're not, there's a ton of our coaches there.
Yeah. And in Relationship Reinvented, which is grown tremendously and continues to keep growing. So.
And now we have a photo bomber. And I think the other one's around here somewhere. He got his photo bomb in earlier. Yeah. Yeah, there's that. So we may come on live before the end of the week. I believe so. Yeah. I don't know when. It just depends on if somebody reschedules a session or cancels a session. Then we'll take that hour and we will give it back to you, and
We're going to
you'll
be
come
doing
in
a
live.
lovely retreat come October.
This retreat out here is just going to
Be
be
out in
very, very peaceful, very zen. Um, it's
great healing. Great healing.
big healing. We're going to have a whole room set up for each individual person who comes gets a Reiki session, a personal one, and
Mini root camp.
mini root camps, plenty of twin flame discussion, um, connection discussion,
soulmate,
workshops.
relationship to yourself.
Our coaches are going to be out here doing many workshops in different areas of the property, and we're going to be we're really just going to spend the weekend in healing, and we're going to have a nice fire to sit around and just be, some meditation sessions, a couple yoga sessions, and all kinds of neat things. So if you're interested in that, email info@relationshipreinvented.com. There's very few,
And just to wrap it up,
yeah,
you can reach us on
very few spaces left, I meant to
yeah,
say, but we don't want to keep you forever.
yes, our Reinvent on Twitter. We've got Twin Flames, Lee and Sherry, the Facebook page, and Relationship Reinvented Facebook page. Reinventing Innocence, which is the nonprofit, but that talks for sexual abuse. We'll probably have some videos that'll be on Relationship Reinvented channel for that, and more to come. Of course, Relationship Reinvented is going through a fix that will be seeing a whole new feel and look to that at some point. But we are looking for that. So we love you
We love you
guys.
guys.
Thank you for today.